Luminant luminaughts. Be sure to keep to this flit of tallow to the end of its douse. In the wickedry of this session's witchcraft, as the caboose in this train may have something of value to add to your luggage before you depart from the station. Hey, me peeps and cheeky D's. I'm just going to pause here to say that until the closing statements for the rest of this reading, I may sound a bit Mickey Mouse-ish for Jiminy Cricket's sakes of saving us all some time by doubling the speed of the footage before upstreaming it from the app lab of my filming at work here in Studio of Workshop. As I am fairly confident that there are a majority amongst what viewership I'm gleaning that are worthy of sticking to their guns on targeting my work, as worthy of their perkiness for return for fresh scoops, whose capacity to absorb data of info content in confidence of maintaining fidelity of comprehension of the cognitive feeds with zero latency, of quality control to attentiveness to details. So if you other than care to experience this ship jumping to hyperdrive, you may now join Princess Leia and detour with R2 in your escape pod. We'll now entertain a moment of silence. If you're with Obi-Wan, as these aren't the droids you're looking for, move along. Hi and or hello there. A way to share encrypted telepathy and maintain psychic privacy standards that protect awarenesses from fidelity loss between mass super subconscious and mass awareness is oncoming in future sessions that may be labeled with the heading Metaphysical Walkie-Talkies. And to get the infomercial out of the way, put your rebellious natures aside to like, share, and or subscribe, because you formally admit this to yourself or otherwise. We would care for you to have reason to love yours elf for being ugly, nor hate yours elf later for being beautiful. So our card reading today, again, or evening, whatever time you're at, has to do with numbers in the shield of what some call David, and we are using its base nodes for our business to be marketing, setting aside the paths of geodesic as well as the confluential cross currents that could be explored for a more in-depth sip of the waters that could participate through from an evaporative mindfulness of what could be oncoming of celebrity at hand. You are welcome to get a hold of yours truly, private and secure. If you're insatiably intrigued to satiate further curiosities detailing clues of mystery as they may unfold, fortuitously, beyond any pending disasters. For those fall to be our bridges to cross, the benevolence of which at that is now in your court, to have wherewithal on the ball. So for what may be foresought of hiving to and from our futures financing, what we may draw and hold from this honeycomb of a living book spread we are reading here, let's combine what we see with our power as wise use of the interactive knowledge about it. And the first base node will represent the elemental undercurrent of what is surfacing as reflectorant and or at prism in business forecasts. Here we have, and I got to get the cards because so I'll just pause it and be back in a moment. Okay, so the elemental field feel of what's the strongest element burning through the financial markets and business of this world today, or oncoming here. This is the forecast, right? So the first of the 6 cards of this particular type of spread that could get way more intricate. When I saw the art card, and look, we have fortune and art, so that's pretty good. So if anything, it's fortune and art. You know, you don't have to absorb it into the impregnation of your conscious draw on the future's oncoming unless you understand superstition as something you might rather not know ahead of being exposed to circumstances that have a connotation for that. Anyway, so that first card, prudence. I don't know what element it's in, but it has the sun on it, so maybe it's fire. So, fires of business spreading through the world. How can we make best use of fire without getting all trigger happy now? Come on, you guys. What's this news going on? I'm not going to let it involve our read. We're talking business, not their version of business. And for the first base node, we got prudence. The 8 of, looks like discs. Yeah, the 8 of discs. And going widdershins, which would, I don't know, because I'm going to reverse the video so you can read the card, but going widdershins, which is anti-clockwise for this particular type of reading, because we're drawing from what is being given. So widdershins as to be in the energies of the culling of what is Deosil enlightening us with, and Deosil is the clockwise. We move to the second node, to the right side of our shield from the one closest to the top. Representative here, and then there's this one, and then this one, and then this one, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we're on 2. And this is the emotional state of that fire, that the feel of that business fire is giving us. And for business of marketing, our finances, we have good omen there, success. So that's good, success. So success, yeah, I guess it can be an emotion. It's a variation of a state of joy, I imagine. And so the next card up on the wheel, going anti-clockwise, widdershins. This upper right node, representative of the reason, the logistics that have led for the success. From the emotional charge of success, we have, for clarification of those logics or reasons, why the, let's remember what makes something successful here. Interesting. Oppression. 10 of Wands. So, if we got discs here and wands, I guess to scratch surface of disc, we need some kind of wand. So, we've got a 10. Oppression. So, oppression. It applies pressure. It like, kind of, it forces success along, maybe? I'm kind of slow because I'm on painkillers because of my pulled calf muscle, by the way. So, if I sound a little... Remember, this is going to be sped up to twice as fast. So, at least that'll help a little bit, right? Okay, for the top node... driving our success. What do they say? Isn't there some kind of quote to that where it's like something about thriving in adversity or anyway, yeah, that's just like struggling not to be drowned out by your peer trees in the forest, reaching for the light here. At the top, what did I say the top was going to be of the honeycomb? It was the peak of David's breastplate near what would be his throat. We have the suggestion for the most benevolent flavoring of our communications regarding business. May be wise to invest, as here we have virtue, the 3 of Wands. So that's good, yeah? Virtue. So virtuous choice of words. Words that are verbally nurturing versus abusive to our unfolding realities. Sounds good. That's a good suggestion for business oncoming for us, I'll take it. What about you? Okay, and then from the peak over to the 5th of 6 nodes, the upper lower left of top, for what the likely result of us acting on the previous communicative guidance. What will that bring us? Will we get oppression again? Oh, let's see. Ah, well, that's good. We'll get death. The omen of death. Finality. Abridged like the tower, but with something final. So something is put to death by being virtuous. I don't know what that is. Business. How does that apply to business? You can interpret it how you like, okay? It's a strong card. I'm pretty intimate with that over the course of this lifespan alone, that card. And for the 6th one, the 6th node, well, what comes from death though, right? Let's go ahead and push up some of those daisies from investing that virtue, right? That'll be nice, okay? Sounds good. And for the 6th, the final 6th card, the lower left armor shield, representing the elemental flavor of anticipate, should our applied transaction following the current of the previous nodes prove fortuitous, what may be coming next in the realms of business for pleasuring recreation through pit stops in oasis of time, we're culling for here, we have Dominion. And that looks like a fire card. And it's got a Sagittarius or something symbol. Or Mars. Looks like Mars. So dominate that, yeah? Like put that virtue to work. Push them daisies. Let's get this world flowering. Alright, so that's just a brief skirt of the honeycombs we got going there. So hopefully you got no sting of it. This is a 2. Dominion. I like the number 2. That's partnership. That's a virtuous card. I like it. Anyway, for solo dolo, sometimes we can be okay with discerning hate for a song. And so what I've procured for you, choice adoptions amidst the business in the market of what may shall be going on, reflections of what has evaporated from pasts precipitating from our futures here now. To go with faith beyond doubts in hopes the substance we may glean from removing obstacles fated to our paths may be transmuted via accrued lux on lock for tooling our applicable sovereign destinies. And now we resume normal speed for the closing exercise predicasted during the first procurement of this session's promises. And I'll go get, we need some props for this part, so I'll be back in a moment. There may be an inkling that's been hiding in the recesses of your awarenesses, or awareness, deep in your subconscious. Now, there will be. Here we are now venturing an attempt to draw this idea lurking just beyond the fringe, in umbra of the gravity well that devours much of our dreams from committal to memory for its feed, juxtapositioning from our collective pasts to our futures we are sharing and experiencing here and there now. Be it so through hyperdimensions of thaumaturgy, with this here ladle okay, with this ladle, we're ensconcing for that spoonful of ectoplasm from the cauldron harboring the reliquary of quantums simmering in the fires of enlightenment our futures are made of. That the screens of our devices will sift to all individuated sovereignties to transmit through the celebrations of their receptivities. You may notice the transfer as a subtle shift of opaque light, barely perceptible, that will leave the face of your device and be whisked into the vortex of your aura. You may feel this, a slight tingle enlivening between your pineal and pituitary glands as it is funneled into the crown of your vortexing energies. Between your pineal and pituitary glands, enlivening your tree of life area of the brain, coined as the arbor vitae, within your cerebellum. Please share if any of you discern blossoming of this inkling with us in the comments, if in it other than is too personal for your sense of comfort. We would be curious what you may discover was lingering in the other side of what Hyman was fortifying the veil of that comprehension. I'm going to pour this through now. Here we go. Okay. So we'll just, that should be entering your aura about now. So we'll just have a moment and see what thoughts you got percolating. Okay. So that's what I've got given as prepped for this session of ephemeral realities, burgeoning causal to our nature of creation there and here for shares. My apologies if I'm unable as of yet indicate a donation hat to overturn for this performance. Is that so, Street? Au revoir and Akashawa.